Now, I often get questions regarding the ROI, the return on investment, for joining your state PI association and other networking types of groups. When I first became a PI, I had the same questions and concerns that many of you may have right now. Now, I had been involved in many different business ventures throughout my life, long before I found my favoritist job. Wait, is that a word? Favoritist? Anyway, my favoritist job as a private investigator. And I knew the value of networking and gaining business knowledge from other business leaders. However, it seemed to me that in this highly competitive world of private investigations, the networking might have a great deal of limitations. Now, I have done some extensive research in the past, and I have found that the vast majority of states all have a PI association, and we will also go over that list of state PI associations later too. I also found through the research that most, if not all, of those associations offer much, much more than just networking. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. Our first benefit of joining your state PI association that we will discuss today is networking. It may seem counterproductive to some to go to a group setting, whether it's online or in person, and talk with your competitors. However, that myth, as I'll call it, is easily debunked when I look at my experience over the past decade. Now, the first time I ever went to a PPIAC meeting, that's the Professional Private Investigators Association of Colorado, I was very, very nervous, to be sure. You see, I am very much an introvert, and so going to meetings and meeting strangers was not really in my normal box, to be sure. I was also very nervous because these are the people I am directly competing with, and I didn't want to give away any of my trade secrets regarding my business. So my first few visits, I was very guarded when people would ask me, "What type of work do you do? Are you very busy? What areas do you cover?" Things like that. Now, when you think of it, this is very normal small talk. Think about it. When your neighbors, your relatives, or others find out that you are a PI, these are the same types of questions that they ask. Once I got over the small talk part, it made it a lot easier for me to then ask them questions and offer them my business card and ask them if they had one. Some of my earliest successes when I first started out as a PI was directly related to those great conversations. I got a lot, and I still do to this day get a lot of referrals. But here is the big con to networking. The results of networking do not happen all at once, folks. Networking can be very beneficial. It gets your name out there with your peers, and it can bring in referral work and even subcontract work, but it won't be an overnight thing. Don't just go to a PI association meeting one night and expect your phone to be ringing off the hook the next day. It just won't happen. If you give it time, you put in the effort, you meet some people, maybe even refer some work out to other PIs for investigations that you don't do or other geographical areas that you don't cover, it will start to pay back in dividends over the years. Another huge benefit to joining your state association is training opportunities. Most PI associations offer a plethora of great training opportunities. Let me tell you a quick little story about me and my very first PPIAC conference I ever attended. One of the classes was about accident investigations. This class discussed in detail the various levels of accident investigations, from the most simple types where you go out and you take a few photos of the vehicles in the scene to the more complicated processes of accident reconstruction and engineering work. Now, after taking that class, I was able to talk the talk, and I was really pumped up. I was mostly doing surveillance and trying to find other avenues of investigations that I could get into. I reviewed my notes, and I decided if I invested just a little bit in some minor equipment, I could do those level 1 and most level 2 types of accident investigations. Now, that following Monday, I kid you not, folks, I got a call from a large national firm whom I still work with to this day, and they needed an investigator to go out on an accident investigation. I was shocked, to say the least. And prior to taking that course, I would have said, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that." But because I had taken that course, I was able to say, absolutely, I can help. This is what I can do for you. Then I listed off what I could offer to them. They said, great, sent me the case. I scrambled to get a few things, and all went well, and I earned a lifetime customer from that. The biggest cons to that, though, is the fact that there are investments you must make. The training costs money and it takes time commitment on your part, and you have to apply the learning when opportunities arise. Mentoring is another great opportunity that you may get from joining your state PI association. Most associations have mentor programs where other PIs offer their wisdom and knowledge to newer PIs to help them as they get started in the PI industry. Now, the key words there are offer wisdom, offer knowledge, and help the PI get started. These are great resources to have, to be sure. Again, when I got started, I took advantage of many PIs who offered mentoring, and I bent their ears when I had questions, and I listened intently as they spoke. If you want a mentor that is going to hand you work, if you want a mentor that is going to train you on the job, then folks, you will be sorely disappointed most likely. Mentoring is a benefit that requires your investment in time and effort to ask for their advice and words of wisdom, and then heed those words of wisdom and apply it to your PI business. ROI is another huge con and pro to joining your state association. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but listen up. I have heard it a lot in the past. New members say something like, I paid my $125 a year membership and I never get a single job out of it. I will then often ask what they put into besides the $125. And they say, I go to the meetings and I go to the trainings and I just get nothing. A little more digging and observation, and I notice they do go to the trainings, the monthly free trainings. They also sit in a corner and they never get out and they never talk to anybody, and I rarely ever see them taking notes. Now, folks, I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but the biggest con to the ROI for joining your PI association is risking that you get zero ROI. The financial piece, whether it is $125 or $250 a year, is just a part of the equation. The really tough part of the investment is committing your time and your effort and being determined to make it work to your benefit. Now, if you cannot make those commitments, then save your money, put it into some advertising, and move on. If you are willing to really invest in your company and yourself, then the ROI will be there in dividends, folks. What do I mean by that? Well, like stock dividends, it pays out over time. Website promotion, SEO, folks. Yes, when you join most of these associations, you will get a direct link from their site to your site, and that link can be very, very relevant to you and help boost your SEO. Protection from bad legislation that could hurt your PI business is one of those unspoken benefits that many people never give a second thought to. Your state association probably has a legislative team that watches out for legislation that could hurt, hinder, or incapacitate your PI business. Membership has its privileges, folks, and having the ability and the authority to say you are a member is a major thing. What sets you apart from your competitors? Having your state PI association logo on your website and being able to tell people that you are a member and you get regular continued training is a huge marketing tool, to be sure. Credibility to clients as well as to judges and juries is another great benefit of being in your PI association. Most state associations also offer discount programs for many business services. Let's not forget about the regular training that will help expand your PI business, and if your PI license requires it, if they require CEs, then most associations will help you obtain those CEs. And the listserv, there's another benefit. Most state PI associations have a listserv, and this is where other PIs will refer work out and ask for assistance on cases. If you are willing to put in a little work, go to the meetings, go to the trainings, participate on the listserv, do some networking, go the extra mile, and put in time and effort, you will find a world of benefit to joining your state PI association, and case referrals and direct job hires is one of them. Okay, now really quick, an added bonus. Here is a list of state associations that I have compiled over the years. Feel free to pause and write down your state association's name and their website. And you know what? Maybe grab some neighboring states' information too. It never hurts to belong to multiple associations as well as national associations such as NCISS, and their info is in this list too.